Hello, welcome to Home Designs by Amanda. Today's gonna just be something kind of quick. I don't really have a card to show you. It's more of an introduction to the Stampin Blends that have just recently been released by Stampin Up. So I have a few things I just want to show you with real quick, and some tips that I've picked up so far from other demonstrators. There's a ton of videos out there already from the other demonstrators, and they have full sets. I do not. I wasn't sure if I wanted to invest in the whole set right away, so I got a few. And after I got them, I found that I really like them. They are really good. What they are, they're Stampin Up. They're Stampin Blends by Stampin Up. They're the alcohol markers that are similar, very, very similar to Copics, which are the typical alcohol markers that you hear of. So I did a few. I only went with two colors, which is the set of Daffodil Delight, so you have a light and a dark of each color that they have available. And then I did the Old Olive, the light and the dark, and then you got a color lifter and the bronze. You definitely want the color lifter when you order any of them, because it helps give you almost like a third color by lifting some of the colors and stuff and blending. It kind of helps with the blending of the two colors as well. So here's a few of my samples. Since I only did get the two color groups and then the bronze, I don't have a lot of variety in colors. I just tried to do a few different samples of what it can do. So this I tried to show what you can do with just two colors, and then the girl's skin tone there. And then this it is highly recommended that you use Memento ink, the black Memento ink, because it doesn't bleed when it gets touched by the alcohol in the markers. So this one is done with the Memento ink, and it worked out really well. This is the bronze and then some of the color lifter to give it a little bit of shading there. The blue down here is just ones that I was messing with. I had bought some cheap alcohol markers off of Amazon. Yeah, they were cheap for a reason. I even researched it for I wanted good ones, but I couldn't afford Copics. So I researched it. They had good reviews. I got them, and I've barely used them. I don't know what it is. I don't think they blend well. Like the colors that are in the set don't blend well. They have very stiff tips, where this has a really nice brush tip, and it moves smoothly. Where we'll do a leaf here. See, it moves. It kind of just moves smoothly and gives you some control, like a little bit more like a paintbrush. Where the ones that I got, the cheap ones I got off Amazon, they're very stiff. You can't really control it, and they don't blend together. These blend together, and they just turn out really nice. So here's a few of the other things. Oh, and then this one is done with, I did a gold embossing before I colored her in. I really like how the blends work with the embossing. So that's what I did. I just did a bunch of leaves, and I just never got around to coloring them in for you, but maybe we'll finish up doing this one here in a moment. But I did some white embossing as well, and I wanted to finish doing these leaves with you. So I took my Old Olive, and I really like the brush tip. I know that some people are gonna like the fine tip better. And I'm sure for some things that it's better for the fine tip, which over here this is a really narrow space, so the fine tip did seem to work better for that. And then this, I got this darker by going over it 3 times, and this I only did once. So I got some shading in my door just by how many times I went over it. Some of the other tips are that you need to use a background. So we want to get this one out of the way. You want to have something behind you because it is going to bleed through. This I believe is thick whisper white, so it's not coming through quite as much. This is a regular whisper white, and she came through just a little bit more. So that's a slight difference there. This is regular, very vanilla. You can see it's coming through a little bit more. So if you want it to come through a little less, you can use the thick white or the thick very vanilla. My demonstrator that's above me did a video the other day on like 11 different varieties of our cardstock, between the thick, the shimmer, the different neutral colors, and so that one was interesting to see. She even did it on some of the vellum and the shimmery kind of ones there. So maybe I could get a few more out and show you that too, but for now I just wanted to show you a little bit of how they just kind of go in. You don't even have to fill it in completely, and they kind of just bleed to where it needs to be. Like with the white one, I didn't even really go in because I couldn't see it very well. I didn't even like try to stay in the lines, and it still, you can really tell that it's a wreath. So and then this one, it's not necessarily a coloring in kind of stamp, but you can just kind of go over it and it still gives you a nice coloring that you can tell that it's a wintry tree. And then you can decorate the other parts with another color. I really wish I would have got the red. Well, I want the whole set now. But, you know, it's like the red would have been really nice because I could have done some cute red Christmas bulbs on there for the Christmas season. So I'm just kind of going with yellow to give them a little bit of gold flair. And put Wink Stella over it, and you have a shiny ornaments, shimmery on your tree. So I really liked, what I really liked is how the two different shades can give you this nice gradient look in your pictures when you're coloring. I like that. I love kind of just something you picked up from art classes when I was in school and things like that. And then, so I tried a coloring page out of just like one that you get, you know, a coloring book. I believe this was one of my daughter's coloring books that she got for Christmas one year. And I don't think it blends quite as well on that paper, but it has a slight more, what is that, construction-ish paper feel. It's not construction paper, obviously, but it kind of has a different feel where this is smoother. The Whisper white cardstock is just smoother, so I think you get a better shading on it than on this thicker, just regular paper, and it definitely gives you a major bleed through. But they're still nice to color with on there, and it does bleed out a little bit more, I think, because it's probably a little more porous, I would assume. I'm not sure how that works. But I like how this shaded. So let's see if we can, let's do it with the girl. I wanted to do the leaf, but I think we'll get more of it with the girl to see the shading techniques. Some people say you can do dark first, you can do light first. It doesn't really matter. I found that I like doing the light first, because then you can go in and darken your areas afterwards. So, and then there are also major tips about covering smaller areas, which her dress, I found that I did the dress all at the same time, and it seemed to still be okay. But I don't know if I'd go with much bigger of an area than that, so that you can blend all your colors. So I just did one quick with the light, and that was the brush end, and then I'm going to come in with the brush end of the dark of, these are both Daffodil Delight, I believe. It should be. Yeah, so this is the light Daffodil Delight, this is the dark, and I'm going to just do some highlights up around. I'm going to do it across the bottom, and then right around her side, and just kind of give it some dimension there, and then down along her side here, just where it would be a little bit darker because of the way it moves. Okay, so you kind of can tell that there's still a kind of a thick line, but then you come back in with the light and you go over where they meet, and it just, that's where you get the nicer blending of the colors together. You just kind of go over it, and this is even just simple. I'm sure there's much more techniques and things that you can learn how to do. This is just simple ones that I've picked up real quick from having these in the little bit of time that I've had to mess with them. And there you have a nice blend together, and then you can always take your blending one was this color lifter, and just take, and that'll like blend them together a little bit and lift a little color. I think mine's might be a little dirty. And that will kind of bring them together as well, maybe give you a more even lighter look. There. I did notice that you have to be careful with the color lifter around the embossing if you do the embossing part, because it will lift the color out of the embossing and you'll just end up with like a gray outline. You kind of can see it there a little bit on the line on her dress, because I went right over it. So you do have to be careful of that, because otherwise you're going to end up with a gray kind of line. But I really like how it like smooths it out real well. So those are just the few things that I got around and did. I did try to get another color out of it by putting down the yellow first and then the green over it. It really just didn't do anything. Yes, that's kind of ugly. But that's the few tips to begin with there. I'm gonna link, if you're interested in getting the blends, I'm gonna link to my website, and you can get more information about them there, and see, they're a really nice alcohol marker. Definitely, if you have an artist in your family that likes alcohol markers or is wanting a set, this is a really good starter set, and it works well for stamping or coloring in stamps and stamping and stuff like that. And they seem really enjoyable to work with. And so I hope you enjoyed coming to create some little bits of coloring with me today with the new markers, and I hope to be back soon with some more, using even these a little bit. I do have a few other things about ready to go for some videos for you soon here too. But thanks for coming to create with me today, and I hope you have a great day and that you come back again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!